Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer and moved to Arsenal. Still no Socrates. Where is he? Will it get announced this week? Will it even get announced today? I'm doing this show quite early in the day, so who knows? Will it be announced today, or will it be like I saw reports that it might not get announced to July? I don't see why that would make any sense, announcing it in July. Want to get the guy in as soon as possible, get him training with the team, and assimilate him in ASAP. The one quite good thing for Arsenal with this World Cup is that they've got a few players, quite a few of their sort of leading players that are not going to be in the World Cup. Mkhitaryan's not going to be there. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's not going to be there. Lacazette's not going to be there. Aaron Ramsey's not going to be there. Jack Wilshere, if he still is at Arsenal, is not going to be there. So some real key players that are not going to be at the World Cup. So they're going to be able to have a real rest and come back refreshed. And these are not players that shouldn't be at the World Cup. They're all players of quality that should be at the World Cup, but either their countries haven't made it, or in the case of Lacazette and Wilshere, they just missed out. So we could go and start the season really strongly. So I can't see why not get the squad in place as quickly as possible so that we can have really good training, really get the team playing together ahead of the new season, and that could start us with an advantage, because there's going to be a lot of other teams at the top that have got loads of their players at the World Cup, and they're going to, you know what it's like after a World Cup, players come back so tired. I mean, we've seen over the years with Arsene Wenger, him giving players rests, lots of rests after the World Cup, and literally those players like Mesut Ozil, people like that, not appearing until about 3 weeks into the season. Although in the case of Mesut Ozil, he used to give him rest after rest after rest. But anyway, let's get into some of the transfer news today. Now, Yacine Adli, who we've been talking about quite a lot on the show, has been heavily linked with a move from Paris Saint-Germain to Arsenal. I mean, heavily linked. 17 years of age. Unai Emery knows him from Paris Saint-Germain, gave him his debut at the end of last season, and really believes in this kid. PSG wanted to keep hold of him, but Adli, all the rumours are saying, wants to come to Arsenal. Now, there was lots of rumours flying around France yesterday that he changed his mind, that he'd had second thoughts on moving to Arsenal. He'd had offers from other clubs. That's what some of the rumours were saying. Some of the other rumours were saying that he changed his mind, he's going to stay at Paris Saint-Germain. But it's really interesting that Yacine Adli put out a message on his Instagram where he simply said, and this is his quotes, "You have no idea what you're on about." So that seems to imply that he will be moving to Arsenal, Yacine Adli. And as I said, a really hot prospect, and a player that Unai Emery knows and believes in. So I haven't really seen him, I'm not going to lie to you. I've just read the reports. All the reports look great, but it's work in progress. It's a talent. It's not the sort of signing where we're like, oh, wait, it could be in a couple of years' time we think, wow, we got a gem here. But anyway, let's see how that one develops. Now, Cagliari Yongku, that's the other one that, again, the rumours on that one are increasing. This has been a rumour right from day one in the transfer window, and it continues. Of course, he's a centre-back, 22 years of age, plays for Freiburg, is a Turkish international, and there's lots and lots of clubs around Europe chasing him. He is a very good player, very combative defender. Now, the reports coming out of Turkey and other places is that the deal for Arsenal to sign him is very close. There were concrete talks, of course, that's what we were told last week by his agent, that there was concrete talks that took place between Arsenal and Freiburg and himself. Now, will this be another signing for Arsenal? We know that literally the Socrates one is going to be one. If Sionku comes in, that'll be two centre-backs to go along with the two that we've got already and the two youngsters. As a matter of fact, will we sell Mustafi? That's another one. It's been very quiet on the whole Mustafi thing, but if you guys remember last year, Arsenal tried to sell Squadron Mustafi in the transfer window. In the summer transfer window, Arsenal were trying to sell Mustafi. They didn't get anyone to buy him, and they ended up holding on to him, and he stayed with the team and went on to have a very poor season. And it's been a strange one with Mustafi. He started off well at Arsenal, but last season it was very, very poor. And if Yongku comes in, if Socrates comes in, does that mean that Mustafi will be going out? And is that the right decision? There's been moments from Mustafi when you think, player, it's a good player here. Then there's other moments when you think, gosh, he's so rash, you know. I get the feeling that he could, if Yongku comes in, he could be on his way out, but who knows? It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with him. Lucas Tahrir, now lots of talk about this yesterday and the day before. It's sort of come out of nowhere, but this guy seems to be right in the driving seat as the player that Arsenal are looking to bring in that defensive midfielder position. 22, so he's still very young, but he's played lots of games for Sampdoria, so he's not like a raw youngster. He's played a lot of games and he's done brilliantly. Now, that has led to lots of teams chasing him, and that's led to him getting into the Uruguay squad for the World Cup. He's said to have a £22 million release clause. Now, really interesting yesterday that the Italian media outlet ANSA, they said that the deal for him to go to Arsenal is moving closer and closer. Those were his words, and those were their words. And the other really interesting thing to highlight here is that Sampdoria have gone out and they've bought a replacement for Lucas Tahrir, who, remember, is one of their main players. They've gone and bought a defensive midfielder from Lokomotiv Zagreb called Lovro Maja, and he's going to be coming in. So that seems to indicate that they know they're going to lose Tahrir. Now, the two clubs that are really in the driving seat for Tahrir are Arsenal and Napoli. Those two are the two that really, really have a big interest in him. Really, really would like to bring him in. Could Lucas Tahrir be an Arsenal player? And as I said, all the reports going around about him is that he's a player that plays in a similar kind of vein to N'Golo Kante, and that he's everywhere around that midfield, tough tackling, no nonsense, but can get the ball, drive forward, pick a pass, even scored a few goals last season for Sampdoria as well. So it's starting to emerge, if you follow all these rumours, that he's the number one target in that defensive midfielder position for Arsenal. That would mean that no Nzonzi, is Fellaini a defensive midfielder? I keep asking the question. It would look like Tahrir would be that guy. What do you guys feel about that? Because I know that a lot of Arsenal fans would like to see a big guy in that position. I don't know if it's because over the years, we've just seen that area as such a weak area, and we've always been like, you speak to fans and you're like, you need a big guy in front of the back four who can, and you look at a guy like Nzonzi and he seems to fit the bill perfectly. Plus he's worked with Unai Emery and he's got the experience. However, 29, and a lot of money they want for him, £35 million we've been told to get Nzonzi. Whereas this guy, 22, Uruguay international, fits the bill perfectly. Younger, very fit player, very strong. And does your defensive midfielder have to be that big guy like a Matic, like a Nzonzi, when you look at somebody like N'Golo Kante? I look at some of the guys who play in that type of position in the Premier League, and some of those that are they're not huge, but it's the job they do in ratting around and winning tackles and really what you call a destroyer. Herrera's a bit like that at Manchester United as well. That sort of destroyer that's just there and just breaks it up, wins it back, gets it off the back four. That's the type of player we need, and maybe this guy, Lucas Tahrir, may fit the bill. Now, Arsenal linked with another swoop today of a Barcelona youngster. They've done this many a times before. They're doing it again at Arsenal. Remember, we've done it before with Cesc Fabregas. Looks like we're on the verge of doing another one of these swoops where we nick a Barcelona youngster. He goes by the name of Joel Lopez, 16 years of age, very young. from the Barcelona Youth Academy, which churns out player after player after player, brilliant players as well. The talk is that Arsenal have snapped him up. He's a left back, and that they'll pay the compensation to Barcelona, and he will become an Arsenal player. Of course, we'll go straight into the youth setup. We know that the youth setup now has got a new person in charge of that. So interesting. Looks like Arsenal really are investing in a lot of youth. We've always done that over the years, but it looks like we're continuing that and investing in a load of youth. And this Barcelona youngster could be the next one in a long line of young players that have come through. And if he's anything like what Fabregas was when he came through, then we'll be getting ourselves a great player. Those are the rumours today. Listen, thanks for watching the show today. World Cup begins on Thursday. Yes, we are going to be out there in Russia. I should be heading out there on Thursday, but we're going to be out there in Russia. We're going to be covering all of the games over there in Russia, giving our spin on it, our AFTV spin on it. We'll be keeping our eye on all of the Arsenal players over there in Russia. There's quite a few of them playing over there. So if you want to get all of your daily fix on the World Cup, keep it locked here on AFTV. We're going to be all over it. Thanks for watching the show today, and we'll be back tomorrow.